Welcome everyone. So today we are going to talk about one of the very interesting siddhas. He has a very interesting background and the area of contribution is very unique. So we are going to talk about one of those siddhas. His name is Konganar. So he comes from the place Kongu. Kongu means in the south it is called as near that Coimbatore belt region, Kerala Coimbatore border. That area is called as Kongu Desam, and he is coming from that background. So unlike other siddhas where they were taken into initiation and then they reached a realization and then they contributed a lot to mankind, this particular siddha's journey is very unique. He belongs to a place called as Uriyur, where it is also called as Uriyur Malai, or it is also called as Konganargiri Hills. Okay, but now people don't know the second name of it. Mostly it is the first name people are famous about. So he was born there. He belonged to that area, is famous for metallurgy or metal related works. In those times, I'm talking thousands of years back, they used to make the temple related kalashas or anything related to metallurgy was happening there, and he was born in that family. And then later he was roaming around those hills in his younger days, and once he saw many animals were hurt due to hunting of the near royal family, and as the people who were hunting, they were trying to wash their weapons in the water. There was a small pond in the hill and they were washing, and that water kind of splattered on the injured animals, and they started getting life and they started walking back. Animals which walks back or fly, they all started getting life. He was astonished to see the power of that particular pond, and because it has some medicinal value. So immediately he wanted to explore more on why this is happening. Exactly at that time, there's a small cave above the hill. Even now it is called as Konganar Caves, and people go in. There's two way. One way you go in and you can come out. People who are lean only can go in. So at one of the siddhas came out of that cave, and he's none other than Boyang or Bogar Siddhar. He's a Chinese siddha. From here they went to China, and then he came back in a different body. That we'll talk in a separate video. So he came out, and immediately Konganar, at that time his name was Sivabalan. He said, thank you, it's good to see a siddha like you, like Bogar, who are here. Then he said that, no, I am not the siddha, you are also a siddha, and your time has come. So then he initiated him into various practices. But since this guy was the small boy, and this guy was from a metallurgy background, his love of gold or his passion, his greedy towards gold was not going. The desire was deep into his karmic impression that it was not coming out. So he taught him some meditative practice and spiritual practice. So, and as he was meditating, so he used to get that small. So what happens is, when you meditate, at certain level you transcend your soul. Your aura start expanding. Your soul starts traveling, and many different angels and different kinds of energies would come, and during that time you might get a siddhi means unlocking the psychic abilities. So these small angels started coming and giving him small siddhis. With this, he was so fascinated by this illusionary game, and he started performing those miracles for attention. So he was doing that with small things, and he stopped focusing on the meditation practice, and all he wanted was he will go and visit multiple siddhas and learn some techniques, and he was more behind the technique. So if you compare to relate this story with us today, we spend a lot of time in accumulating knowledge and learning tips and tricks. Rather, we spend very less time in mastering any particular practice, or we fail to choose a very particular practice. So this is a story of that person who was behind multiple techniques and technology, spiritual technologies he was learning. He has learned from many people like Tirumular, Agasthyar has taught him, and he has met many siddhas, and he has learned new things. But his passion towards gold was never solved. So he wanted to somehow learn the alchemy, because siddhas are very famous for alchemy. They can transmute a metal from copper to gold or any other metals as needed. So they had that much of knowledge, but they never transferred it to him. So he was behind it for a long time, and finally he learned it, and he learned the technique of transmuting copper into gold. And after that he became very famous. People started coming to meet him, and he was performing, turning gold, creating gold. It is all done in that particular hill, Udiyur Hill, where he was doing all these things. And then it became a lot of trouble, because everybody, like even the great siddhas themselves, when they get greedy or they have the deepest passion in them, which is not fulfilled or they are not able to let go. So normal people will definitely become more greedy. So they were like really behind him, troubling him, not allowing him to spiritual practice of asking for gold or other things. So finally he felt really irritated, and he was feeling like this is not the life he wanted, and he decided to burn the knowledge. So what Siddhas used to do in those days is like today's scientists, when they make a journal, they used to write everything in the palm leaf. So what he was doing is he collected all the secrets, the palm leaf from that hill, and he went all the way. He wanted to burn it, and he found some auspicious place to burn and then engage in the spiritual practice. So he took all the palm leaf, he came by walk, he went all the way to Karnataka, today's place it's called as Kollegal. So he went there and he kept that leaves, and he wanted to burn it there, but again people came there. So even now that place in Kollegal, there's a small temple they have, and they call it in a different Siddha name, and it is marked, and they do perform pujas there. Again he took the palm leaf from there and he went all the way to the birthplace of the Kaveri. So there he went, and near a place he performed a yagna, so that this knowledge is not transferred or used in a wrong way. He created a seal around it and he burnt all those things there. So during that process of fire ritual, he was able to see a vision which asked him to come to Tirupati and finish his life purpose. That means enter into Jiva Samadhi. So then he went all the way to Tirupati, the present Tirupati now, and there he went, and he completely gone into the Jiva Samadhi. Jiva Samadhi is at will the soul left the body, and that is the place where Tirupati temple is built above. So some scholars claim that it is exactly below the Balaji statue there in Tirupati is Konganar Samadhi, or some priest, the Udiyur temple, that priest, they claim that they have kept the Samadhi next to the Balaji temple, and when the government, earlier Tirupati was belonging to Madras Regency, that is Tamil Nadu under control, and they went to Andhra, and then they had to shut it down, and they transferred the energy to Papanasam nearby. There are three different stories, but somewhere it is all agreed that it is there in Tirupati, and so that is his Samadhi, and finally he left off, and that knowledge has never come out. The beauty, even today, after thousands of years, even now in this place, in that particular hill, people go every full moon day, that is on a Paurnami day, they prepare a specific herbal decoction, okay, and it is amazing cure. It provides amazing cure for piles related or any uterus related health issues, and they give it out of there for free. So on a full moon day, people go there, and the priest there prepares with the herb. It looks like in the history, Bogar and his disciples, including Karura, they all have spread the seeds in that hill, and they all have medicinal plants. Some of the medicinal plants are very rare. For example, they are talking about Sanjeevani. Till now, I am not sure if people have finally found that real herb or does it exist. We don't know, but they do say there are some miraculous herb there that performs very good, that does good for the health. So they make the decoction and they give it to people who come on that particular day. Even now, I'll leave their number below in the description. Those priests, you can contact them for any health issues. They will prepare that and they will courier it to you. And they are doing it like a service. And if you want to give them anything in return, it's up to you, how big is your heart and how you want to help them. Otherwise, even now they perform it. And that place is very unique. As I said, it is not just the hill with full of herbs. It has a lot of amazing crystals and minerals. So that is where this particular Siddha Konganar was using it for gold alchemy. So if you look deeper into it, there is a stone called as Chandrakandakal. Chandrakandakal is nothing but a moonstone. As we all know, moonstone has a psychic influence on our mind. Particularly on a full moon day, the moonstone is very active. The vibrations are a lot more higher. So many people, even now when they go to that hill, they just sleep on that rock only. There's a big moonstones, huge. The hill itself is full of moonstones and other minerals, rich mineral stones, and they all sleep on it and they energize their body. They feel like different kinds of aromas coming in Paurnami day. Some people experience deep bliss and meditation that day. It's all unique experience until we go there or we experience it. I can't share it. I have not been there. I've been exploring it. So I'm eagerly looking for lockdown to get over so that I can go there and I can share my experience with you all. So that's a story of Konganar Siddhar, and that is the Tirupati, that's where his Jiva Samadhi is there. And so what lessons we can learn from him is that no matter how much spiritual practice we do or how much deeper we are, if we have the deepest desire something inside us, our conscious will not allow us to go beyond. So it will always pull us back and the greedy will keep on coming to us. So that is one thing I want to let you know. So no matter whatever we do, we have to ground ourselves and accept our reality. Only then we can progress in a spiritual life. Before I end, I want to share an alternative version of the story. Is that they call him as Karu Konganar. So they say that alternative version story. What they say is he was given. He went to once went to Thiruvalluvar's house, and his wife was inside, and she couldn't come out. So before going there, on the way, a crane was there flying, and it dropped its waste on him. And with the anger, he saw the bird burnt, and he came to this house to meet them for food, because they all Siddhas beg and eat. That is their day to day. Whenever they feel hunger, they go out and beg. So she didn't come on time, or he got anger and he wanted her to burn or something. And immediately when she came out, nothing happened, and she asked him, "I'm not the crane. I also have the spiritual power." So that is another version. The story behind this, the moral what we have to understand from this is, whether they really burnt it or not, how did she know that this guy has burnt the crane bird? It's not that. The idea here is, even without spiritual practice, just being a dedicated in our karma yoga, you can have spiritual qualities and you can cultivate those psychic abilities in you. That is the story we have to understand. But in YouTube, when I saw people are talking about that story into big miracle and other things, but they forgot the moral of the story. So I thought I'll just share that as an alternative ending. I hope this inspires you of this Siddha, and I have a lot of Siddha stories. It's not just 18 Siddhas. There are 9 crore Siddhas available, and we don't have much history, but I'm trying to dig it. So if this is of interesting to you, then I can share more and more Siddha story, so that they inspire us and we can go deeper into our spiritual practice. That's all I have for now. Thank you, and I'll meet you in another interesting video. Bye.